What's up everyone, and welcome to another edition of Vista Videos. In this episode, we're going to take a look at Premiere and Audition, and we're going to be able to take a video clip and be able to edit out all the junk we don't want in our video clip, and then also take another video clip that is actually just not loud enough, and then figure out how to boost the audio. I want to give a thanks to Matt Roy, who was collaborating with me on a project, and he had sent me some video clips and was just like, hey, how can I adjust these and make these better? So I thought, hey, this would be something that could be shared with the rest of the community, the faculty, employees, whatever. You know, whoever's just trying to make better video. The great thing is the software that I'm using is provided by Alamo Colleges. You just have to make a request into IT to get it installed on your system. So you should have everything that you need in order to make these videos. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into Premiere and figure out how to import, edit, adjust sound, and then export those clips out so that way you have perfect clips for your students this fall 2020. By the way, welcome back. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to open up Adobe Premiere Pro, and it just happens to be Adobe Premiere Pro 2020. So I'm going to go ahead and double click on that and get that going. Just going to wait for it to start up. Okay, so now that it's started up, I'm going to go ahead and hit New Project. And then it's asking me where do I want to save this project. So I'm going to hit Browse. And I am going to save it under this Matt Roy demo. So I'm just going to click in there and tell it choose. And then I'm just going to type for the name, Matt Roy demo. And this is not, whoops, type that all wrong. This is not very important. Actually, I put two T's the first time, so sorry about that. So it's not too important as far as like what you name that sequence or timeline. I mean, it's just more for organization. But what's really important is where you save it. So you want to try to keep your save file and all of your media files kind of together. At least that helps me out because then I don't have like lost links and stuff, and I can explain that on a different time on an advanced level. But the first thing I want to do is I want to take my video clip and I want to go ahead and drag it down here in this project window, and it drops the video clip right there. And if for some reason yours does not look like mine, you can go to your window, you can go to your workspaces, and you can change it to editing. So now we kind of all of our interface looks the same. So here's your main window here, and this is like where you're going to do some effects here, and this is your bin, and this is like where all your video clips reside. So I'm going to just click and drag it onto the timeline, which is right here, and you can kind of see here, this is basically where the video will play. So if I click play.
All right, so the first question is, how do you think that 0320 helped prepare you for Math 1414?
So I know in high...
Okay, so there's a couple things here. The first part of the video, I may just take the creative freedom just to edit that first part out. So let's look again, and I'm going to go ahead and just turn it up just to make sure that we can hear it.
All right, so the first question is...
So like right there, the first question is. So I think what I'm going to do is I really like it to start right after that. So what I'm going to do right here at the bottom on this timeline, I'm going to go ahead and grab it and I'm going to slide it. And what I'm doing right now is I'm zooming into the clip. And this down here is the waveform. This is basically Matt speaking. And I can see here that he's speaking and he stops because there's nothing here. You can see like these little peaks, these like mountains and valleys, right? So if it's a valley and there's nothing there, there's no audio. If there's a little bit of a mountain, there's audio there. So now I know that I can go ahead and kind of cut there, right? So you can kind of see like his mouth opening. So I want to have it where it's more close. So it's right there at the end of that clip. And then I'm going to go over here and I'm going to grab this razor tool. And I'm just going to cut it and click right on the line. And then I can hit the selection tool. I can select that first part and I can just hit delete. Now what it did is it created a gap there. So what I can do is I can click and slide the clip to the front, and now we should have the beginning of, without Matt basically saying anything else, and just starting with the question. So let's hit play.
How do you think that 0320 helped prepare you for Math 1414?
So I know in
Okay, so that's great, right? That edit just works out perfectly. Now the next thing we want to look at is, remember those mountains, right? The peaks and the valleys, right? So you can see here when Matt is speaking, all of those mountains are really, really high, and when the student starts, they're really, really low. So what we're going to do is I'm actually going to shorten this clip, and you can actually see here at the bottom, I can see when the student is speaking, when Matt starts speaking, and look, I'll go ahead and scrub through the timeline, and you can see Matt's audio is a lot louder. So what we are going to do is we are going to adjust the audio for the student so that way it is on the same level as Matt. So I'm going to go ahead and right click in this area where the audio is located, and I'm going to go ahead and left click on Edit Clip in Adobe Audition. So now the two programs are synced together. So when you work on one part of the file and you save it, it's automatically going to pre-populate in Premiere again. So this is Adobe Audition, and basically this software is just for audio only. And the way to really quickly adjust this is I can see Matt Roy is speaking right here. So I'm just highlighting this with my mouse.
How do you think that 0320 helped prepare you for Math 1414?
Right, so we got Matt Roy, and now I can see that the student is right here.
so I know in high school
So the student is really, really low. And if you notice, I have this little menu that's floating above here. And what this is it's just kind of like a levels of volume adjustment. And this is just a really quick way to get the audio adjusted so that way it's a little bit closer to Matt's. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click, and then I'm going to go to the click, I'm going to slide my mouse to the right. And you can kind of see that it's bringing the volume up. Now what you want is you do not want those different peaks to exceed outside of that box. So I'm just going to do it right there, and we're going to go ahead and listen again.
So I know in high school I wasn't the best algebra student.
So we now see that the audio is way better, and actually what you can do even more if you really, really wanted to really fine tune this is we have some big peaks. So it's either them speaking a certain part of a word or anything, and it's really, really hot, and it's really, really high and loud. So what you can do is you can just select that one portion.
Pass.
So you can hear him talking, and you can do the same thing, but instead of going up, we're going to go down, and we're going to get it to be like the height of the rest of those mountains. So now I'm going to go ahead and click away, and let's listen to that.
I passed it.
So it was past it, right? So they talk about those P's, right? The P's can be really, really loud. So you can go through, you can adjust any of that stuff in the rest of your clip if you think you need to.
At the time,
if you think you need to actually adjust some of that stuff, you can adjust
at
it.
at the time I made.
And the thing is, once you adjust all of these other ones down some, this is going to allow you to increase the volume overall for the clip, because then you're not going to have anything that's going to be clipping, right? So I'm just kind of adjusting these all down just a bit. And now what I can do is I'm going to go ahead and zoom out, and you can kind of see that's about as loud as Matt's now. But I'm just going to boost it just a little bit more. And now when we listen to Matt and the student, it's a little bit closer in
Helped
audio.
prepare you for Math 1414.
So I know in high school I wasn't the best algebra student.
So you can hear the volume. The only thing that you can hear now is you can hear like a little bit of noise. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in. So you can kind of hear that noise. So what I'm going to do is I am going to go into noise reduction, and I'm going to capture that noise print. And then when I go to effects and noise reduction again, I can actually select the rest of that clip, and then I can actually play it down here.
So I know in high school I wasn't.
And this is with the
best
effect
algebra
off.
student.
You can kind of hear it.
That's the best I can say
That's
about
on.
it. So I know going into.
And then what you can do is you can adjust these sliders to kind of adjust the effect, because sometimes it's a little bit too much and you need to kind of dial it back a little bit. So let's go ahead and play it, and we'll just listen to it, and we'll just kind of see how we can get all that hiss and noise out, but we'll just retain the audio without it sounding too robotic.
I had the option to choose between 1414 and 0320, and I know looking at it, at the time my major was to be a physicist, So I know in high school I wasn't the best.
So that was just a little bit of a reduction and it doesn't sound too robotic. So I'm just going to hit apply. And then now we have a clip that sounds completely different.
For Math 1414.
So I know in high school I wasn't the best algebra student.
And we can notice down here we are not peaking. It would have a little red indicator down here if we were peaking. And we're not. So that's great.
Passed it.
So now all we have to do is save the file and quit it. So let's just do a save. And we can quit this program. Let's see, close. Let's just quit the program. And when we quit the program, you're going to notice down here, those little peaks and valleys now are the same, right? So we went ahead and adjusted the audio really, really quick.
320 helped prepare you for Math 1414.
So I know in high school
So you couldn't hear the student before, and now you can hear the student. So if you have any audio that's in your clip and you just cannot hear it, that's a really quick way to adjust it. And if you don't want to go as far as doing the noise reduction, you don't have to. I would just suggest just increasing the audio because that makes all the difference, just being able to hear things. The noise reduction is just a plus, and if you feel comfortable going to that extreme, you can go ahead and do the noise reduction. So the last thing we need to do is we need to export this video out. So I'm going to go ahead and File, and I'm going to hit Export, and I'm going to hit Media. And you need to make sure that that timeline area was selected when we did this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose the output name and I'm going to choose the location. So right now I need to go ahead and save it to our Vista Videos, which is right here. And this is Edit Video and Sound, and this is the Matt Roy demo. So that's where I'm saving it, and it's going to be different wherever you save it on yours. And I am going to just hit replace right now. Hold on. Whoops. Sorry. I meant to change the name. So let's just name this export. That's the reason why it wouldn't let me name it, because that was actually the media file that was that we're using right in the example. So I'm going to go ahead and do Vista Videos. Again, Edit Video and Sound, Matt Roy Demo, and save. And it's going to be like, okay. I'm going to go ahead and save it as H.264. It's pretty widely used, so I would definitely recommend that. Match source, high bit rate. It's just so it kind of matches the source. And you'll be able to see down here what your file size is. So we can see that it's 35 megabytes. And we're going to just go ahead and do the entire sequence. And then we're going to go ahead and hit export. And since this video is relatively short, it should be pretty quick. And now we can go to where our files are located. And we should be able to see an export file, which we do. This was a Carl interview. This is the reason why we couldn't save it with that same name, right? So this is the export. And we're going to go ahead and click on that, and we're going to play it, and we're going to see that it starts right where Matt Roy begins the question, and then it's going to go ahead and have the student with the correct audio.
How do you think that 0320 helped prepare you for Math 1414?
So I know in high school I wasn't the best.
So you can look, we were able to cut the front end of the video, and you can actually cut at any point in the video. We just did it at the front, but you can do this with any part of the video. So that way you can basically record and have mistakes and just keep going and then fix it all afterwards in post-production, right? And then with audio, if you're ever talking to a student or you're doing an interview or something like that, or different, let's say you're shooting video on different days and the audio is not the same level, you can go ahead and adjust it to ensure that it's the same level, and you can visually see where those peaks and those valleys are at. And that'll help you hopefully make a better video. Once I have this video now, it's exported into my folder there. I can go ahead and just upload it to YouTube or to wherever your preference is as far as where you want to upload your videos. I hope this was helpful, and being able to edit your video and to make your videos have better sound. We can look into some more things, like such as doing titles or even how to set up lighting or anything like that, so that way you can just have a better video to begin with and hopefully not have to edit so much. So hopefully you learned something on this Vista video, and I hope to see better videos out there, and I hope to see you on the very, very next episode of Vista Videos. I'll talk to you later. Have a great semester. If you would like a notification when we create a new video, then subscribe to us on YouTube. Also follow and like us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.